Hi there, welcome to Psyched with Rena. Today's episode is going to talk about improving your sleep. That means having more ease going to sleep and also being able to have deeper, better quality sleep. I'll be answering questions like, what about all-nighters? And what about using marijuana or alcohol to help fall asleep? But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Rena Chinn. I'm a psychotherapist in the Seattle area, and I primarily work with young adults who are people of color, or as Resma Menakem would say, bodies of culture. If you're interested in topics about improving your sleep, lowering anxiety, and dealing with stress, please consider subscribing to my channel and ringing the bell so you'll be notified when there are new episodes. Now, I'm going to be talking about improving your sleep looking at 3 different factors. 1 is this timing of your sleep. 2 are the precursors to your sleeping. And 3rd is your sleeping environment. Much of what I'm sharing today is common knowledge you'll get from sleep doctors, as well as from the neurobiologist Matt Walker, who's at UC Berkeley and has written the book, Why We Sleep. So number 1, let's look at the timing of your sleep. Start off by thinking about how to make your sleep schedule rhythmic and repetitive. That means trying to go to bed and wake up at the same time each day, 7 days a week if you can, although I can understand many people like to sleep in on the weekends. Keep a sleep diary to track that your sleep can have a regular rhythm to it. And if you have trouble and are unable to get regular sleep, that sleep diary is something you will bring with you to the sleep doctor. So number 1 is to look at how to shift around your schedule so you can go to sleep and wake up at the same time. Consider setting an alarm for when you have to go to sleep, or maybe when your wind down time begins, when you can start to get ready and calm down your body and relax to get ready to sleep. Many young adults ask me, well, what about if I'm staying up really late? College students will ask, what about if I pull an all-nighter? Is it okay if I pull an all-nighter and then I sleep more the next day? Maybe I sleep all weekend long and can kind of catch up. Well, does that work? The answer is actually no. It's been shown that when people skip 8 hours of sleep, they've tracked patients like that over the next days and weeks and found that they actually never really catch up on the amount of sleep that they had. It could be because the quality of the additional sleep in the following days is not quite as deep enough, but it's also that you actually don't make up the hours. So I would call this a little bit of sleep bulimia, when you kind of don't sleep for a long period of time and then you do binge sleeping. This erratic sleeping throws off your body and actually doesn't give you the sufficient sleep that you need. The second thing I want to consider are precursors to our sleep. There's 2 different categories I want us to think about. Activities that prevent us from falling asleep and activities that disturb or disrupt the quality of sleep that we get. So first of all, let's look at our daily routines, our rhythm for sleeping, and see what precursors we have that might disrupt good sleep. The primary one I'm seeing is that people often have too much screen time before bed. There's the blue light, which is stimulating, and then there's also the habit of having mostly our phones, but it could be a Kindle or iPad in our beds. And then we might often be playing or watching YouTube or doing something on our screens until late in the evening until we drop off. This stimulates our brain in a way that makes it difficult for us to fall asleep. So the first thing to do is to consider putting your screens outside of your bedroom before you go to bed. People say, well, what about my alarm clock? How am I going to wake up? Well, how about getting a watch? Or, as you can see, I have an alarm clock here. So that will actually ring when I'm supposed to get ready for bed, and it'll also ring when I'm supposed to wake up in the morning. Consider switching your placement of devices around so that you're not looking at your screens right before bed. What else disrupts the process of falling asleep? Daytime napping, for obvious reasons, that we've already had some sleep and we're having trouble settling down. Also, late night eating can keep us up. Now, it's actually very conducive to good sleep to have exercise and sunshine, but just not right before we go to bed. So look at these precursors. All of those things need to have the proper timing and place in our schedule so that we can properly fall asleep. Now, people have asked me, what about marijuana? What about drinking alcohol? It relaxes my body, it calms me down. Is that a good thing for me to use to go to sleep? Well, actually, the best practice would be to use these substances 4 to 6 hours before you go to sleep. The reason is that even though you get tired when you drink alcohol, it's a sedative. So what it does is it calms down your body, but your body never really reaches the deep level of sleep, which promotes healing and cleaning out our brain of all the chemicals, and it doesn't promote REM sleep. The rapid eye movement sleep is what helps us process things when we're sleeping. It's attributed to emotional health. So people who do not get enough REM sleep tend to be more anxious and irritated in the daytime. So the short answer is no. Even though you may feel more tired from drinking alcohol, it's not the best to improve your quality of sleep. What about marijuana? Well, a lot of times people, for the same reasons, like to smoke marijuana before going to bed. It makes them feel relaxed and kind of a little bit numbed out. It also has the same deficit as alcohol, though. It really cuts off your REM sleep, which means that you are not processing your emotions in your sleep well enough to have emotional health in the daytime. Smoking marijuana before bed would tend to disrupt REM and deep sleep. It would not provide you with the deep healing sleep that your body needs. Now, marijuana has a couple of different components. There's the THC, which is psychoactive, and the CBD, which is used to resolve or alleviate pain. Now, as far as current research goes, what they've done at UC Berkeley, they found that the THC cuts off REM sleep, and so that should be avoided. However, it looks for now like the CBD in topical form or ingested does not disrupt sleep in those same ways. So that should be safe to take if you're experiencing pain and using it to relieve that. The third factor to consider is your sleep environment. That makes a big difference in addition to the timing of your sleep and the precursors to your sleep. So I'm usually doing these videos from my office, but I'm using a bedroom setting to specifically show you that you want to have a quiet, calm environment. You want to have blinds or shades which can completely cut out light. You want the environment as quiet as possible and possibly with cooler air. Now, not all of us have the luxury of having our own room. Many college students share rooms, or if you're living in a fraternity or you're sharing an apartment, you may have a roommate. That makes sleep a little bit more difficult. And generally, people will sleep better by themselves. However, you might need to talk to a partner or a roommate about adjustments you can make to make the environment calm and cool and restful. That might also mean that they're not watching TV in bed or doing things that are stimulating to you. The bed environment should basically be for sleep and sex. Sometimes you can read a little bit in bed before you go to sleep or do some calming activity, but preferably your wind down activities would begin when you're getting ready for bed, and you would choose calm, soothing activities, taking a warm bath, brushing your hair, just pondering and meditating on the day. I want you to consider how you can shift your environment to make it more conducive to good sleep. Now, let's say you're feeling very anxious and worried, and you've done all these things and you still have trouble settling into sleep. I would wonder if you also have trouble in anxiety in your daytime. please check out my playlist, which talks about being triggered and anxious and how to work with that in your body. There are other things you might need to address in your daytime. However, if you're just feeling like it's problems falling asleep or staying asleep, please start keeping a sleep diary and monitor all these different factors. Once you've done that, you'll be ready to talk to a physician if you need to get further input. Anyway, I wish you a good night's sleep. This is Psyched with Rena. Please subscribe or ring the bell if you'd like to hear more like this. And I wish you a good night. Bye-bye.